start off with a circle about the size of a tennis ball. I'm leaving some room on top because his ears perk up. One ear is going to be perked up, the other one's going to be perked down. Flop down. But I'm also leaving some room underneath the circle for his neck, because he's got a pretty long neck. I'm not really worried about making this a perfect circle. I think some of you, and a lot of artists get really concerned. They want it to look absolutely perfect. But it's okay. For this one, we don't need it to look too perfect because we're not going to see the circle by the end. But you do want to draw in this stretched out C shape. You can see how we recreated this like skinny crescent moon over here on the left-hand side. And then I'm going to go find the middle of my circle, and I'm going to go just a smidge lower, and I'm going to add in this line that's going left to right. So you can see that there's a little bit more space on top than on the bottom here. You want to extend that line out to the left, just a smidge. You don't want it as wide as the circle, a little bit less than. But from this line sticking out towards the left, we're going to very lightly, and all of these lines are nice and light, don't worry, I'll tell you when to darken things up. Not yet though. We're going to add in this nice big U shape going right to the inside, just shy of the very outside, the very far right-hand side of the circle. So it should look like you have like this lemon slice and this orange right next to each other, right? I'm going to add in his ears, right here where the line is touching the top of the circle, that crescent moon here. I'm going to go a little bit to the right of it. I'm going to add in this like stretched out backward C. I'll add in almost like a diagonal line going over here to the right. And then I'm going to pull this line down just shy of the side of the circle. So we've got one ear perked up like this big pizza slice. Now, going back to that line here in the middle, I'm going to go to the left-hand side down. Whoa, getting crazy. We're going to draw in this upside-down letter L. And going from the very far side of the L, I'm going to pull a line right back to the circle. So it looks like there's a box up here. But we don't want a box, we want an ear. So I'm going to go and just add in this very skinny little pizza slice. Just kind of flowing over here to the side. So you can see how one ear looks perked up and the other one is flowing to the other side. Now to draw in the neck, we're going to start right here for where the line is touching the circle. And I'm going to very lightly pull down just this straight diagonal line going down to the bottom of my page. And back over here on the right-hand side where the ear is, I'm drawing in another parallel line. So you want these to be pretty parallel to each other, so that shows that that is his neck. So what you've just done is you very lightly and very quickly, I admit, you sketched in just the basic silhouette of Dante. But it doesn't look like Dante. It looks just like some shadow of a dog. We don't know who he is. Who is he? Is he a hero? Is he a villain? Who knows? So we're going to draw in more of his personality, more of his facial features. We're going to go right here to the very end, the left-hand side of that lemon slice. And we're going to carve into this shape, a U shape. But when we round out the top, and this is going to go outside of that lemon slice a little bit more, when you round this out, you've just drawn something that's very boopable. Yeah, does anyone know what it is? Yeah, it's his nose! It's the best part of a dog. I love dogs' noses, they're so cute. So I'm going to go back in. We want to keep the nose, unless you're drawing like zombie Dante. You definitely want to keep in the nose. So I'm going to go back in, and this is where now I'm going to darken up the lines of just the nose right now. And with this darkened up, hopefully you can see how this now is really starting to pop forward against all the other light lines. And that's what we want, because after all, we're going to keep this. I also like to shade it in because the nose is black, so this will help just to kind of highlight that this is just one whole thing. It's not like a third eye or something like that. Now the next couple of lines, I'm going to darken up so you can see them because I want you to see the difference, but feel free to start nice and light if you need to, just to make sure his muzzle is going to look good. We're going to go outside of the lemon slice here from the nose. I'm going to drop down this like small C shape, almost like bringing it like it's pointing down to the bottom of the ground. From the end of this line, I'm going to pull and add in and darken in this curve that's going right to the bottom, the lowest portion of that lemon slice. So now we're adding in more of like a little box to his nose. And then from the lowest point here, you're going to shave and go and cut into the lemon slice a little bit more up to where the horizontal guideline is, or the very edge of the very far right-hand side of the lemon slice is. Now I don't want his, his smile to be too pointy. In fact, if you ever look at a dog, it's very round, it's very nice and soft. That's what Harlow Raisins dogs are the best. Sorry, Kathy. But I'm adding in this little candy cane shape here just to show it's nice and round. The next line I'm going to sketch in, these you want to stay nice and light. So sketch them in light and keep them nice and light. You want to bring the easiest way to describe this is like a pizza slice. But one of the sides, you want it to touch the side of his face, and the other side, you want it to pull from that little candy cane here. And you've just created his lower jaw. I do want to pull a quick line right back to his body, just to show that the lower jaw has some like structure to it. But usually dogs have their tongue hanging on out from their smile, and that's, again, what makes them so adorable. So I'm gonna go right here from the inside. You can see the inside portion of his mouth here. I'm gonna very lightly add in the tongue, and he's got a really long tongue. If you're just like, dang, this long, it's accurate to what it is in the film. So I'm drawing in this little candy cane. I'm gonna lock this in first before the lower jaw, because this is gonna go and flop in front of the lower jaw, so I wanna see this first. And then the next one, you want it to flow right off of that one. So it's like two little candy canes over here, kind of hanging out. They're brothers, they're bros. But this second one, this one's gonna wrap around the first one. He's protecting his younger brother, so you wanna bring this around here. Just making weird metaphors at this point, I'm so sorry. And then just like everything else, we're gonna darken this in so we can see it a little bit more. Now I'm gonna go back in, I'm gonna darken up the front half of his muzzle here, but Dante is actually a very specific breed of dog. He's a Xoloitzcuintli dog, otherwise known as a Xolo dog or a Mexican hairless dog. This dog breed is actually 3,000 years old. It's been around for such a long time. When the filmmakers for Pixar went to Mexico to learn more about Dia de los Muertos, they found out that this breed of dog has a legend surrounding it, that this breed can guide spirits to the afterlife. And so in finding that out, they wanted to include this dog in some way, shape, or form into the film. This dog, though, is not known for having its full set of teeth. That's why Dante has these very rounded out teeth, but they're not filling up his entire mouth like other dogs that we see in Disney films. They instead have more of like random sporadic teeth kind of like everywhere. So when you're going back and adding these in, you can just kind of be random with them. They don't have to match mine at all. But just making sure that they're nice and round, because that way he doesn't look too spooky. It could be like the multiverse version of him where he is super spooky. It's up to you. But I like to keep him nice and soft because he can't, in my mind, he can't be spooky. He's just too derpy in that way. He's just very much like, I'm a dog, I want to eat. What's that over there? And I was watching the Coco the other day, I just saw it recently. And at one point in time, Frida's talking about him, and she's just like, the mighty Xolo dog. And he's like choking on his foot, like his back foot's in his mouth. Just cracks me up. So now that I have this, you can see I've locked all this in. I'm gonna give him a little double chin because he's hairless, so you see all his little rolls, and I just think he looks cute with a little double chin. That's just what I'm gonna do. I'm also going to go back in and shade in the back of the mouth. So if you have a lot of messy lines here, this will help to kind of clarify what's going on. It helps to kind of be very clear with your sketch that like, hey, this is just the back of his mouth. This is no like portal to like the Nightmare Before Christmas or like, the multiverse. It's just this empty space here. I would say right now, though, I'm going to also just darken up his neck, just kind of clean up what we have so far, but you should be about halfway done with Dante. How's everybody doing? Good. All right, I got a lot of goods. That's good to hear. Are y'all having fun, though? Yes. Rock on. That's what I love to hear, is just making sure y'all having a blast. Now we're going to keep going on with our sketch of Dante because we still got to draw in his muzzle. Got to show that it's pointing out towards us. So this line right here in the middle, this is the center line. I'm going to go right here from that center line. I'm going to draw in this little curve, little slope, just to show that the nose is pulling from that line. This is what all dogs have, so it's good tip on how to draw any dog. I'm going to darken up the top of his muzzle just so we can see a little bit more. But now it's my favorite part. We're going to draw in his eyes, and his eyes are real crazy. So I'm going to draw in a rainbow, kind of like a C shape over here on the left-hand side. I'll even give him a little eyelid, just adding in like a little rainbow on top. And then I'm going to draw in the other eye closer to his smile over here on the right. Making sure that it's looking pretty good. I'm going to lock this in here for him. And then at the very top, again, adding in like a little eyelid for him. And you're gonna have a very spooky dog. He's looking spooky out at you. And he looks like he's just seen something in the land of the dead. So in order to really wake him up, and this is what we really call waking up the character, drawing in their pupils, I'm gonna draw in some pupils for Dante. You can have him looking in any direction you want though. This is one of the most customizable parts of a sketch. One thing though I highly encourage you to do is to shade in the eyes just really, really nice and dark. In fact, I'm gonna press down on my pencil when I'm shading these in just a little bit harder than I normally would, just to make sure I get all that nice focus into the eyes. Because eyes are where we connect to our characters. Especially with Dante. At one point he shows like he starts to like, get a little bit more serious when he starts to see like sad things that are happening, or, oh my God, what broke my heart is when Miguel called him a dumb dog. I was like, don't you dare talk about my son like that. Because he is absolutely adorable. I'm gonna go above here, I'm gonna add in some eyebrows for him. Dogs don't really have eyebrows like we do. They more so have like this eyebrow muscle, so it almost looks like a candy cane up here towards the top. But it definitely follows the curve of your circle. So no matter where you drew in the circle or where that eyelid is, you want to follow that same curve to create this up here. Now you can see the ears are there, but they're starting to fade away, right? Because they look so light compared to all the other details that we have for Dante. So I'm gonna go back in, I'm gonna lock these in. Although the one ear over here on the right, the one that's perked up, it does have a notch cut out of the ear. So I'm gonna add in this like little pizza slice kind of cut out. And that just shows, he's like a stray. He got probably hit by some rogue chancla that came out of the way. Or Miguel's grandma threw it and, he's got just some battle scars from it. You never know. We don't know about his life before he really met Miguel. We just know what his life is afterward. Because does anyone remember what happens to Dante at the end of the film? No. No? Have you seen Coco? No. Okay, cool. I meant to ask whoever said no. Maybe they forgot. He turns into a spirit guide or an alebrije. Yeah, exactly. So with him turning into the spirit guide, he gets all these like fancy colors. He, I guess, stays in the land of the dead for most of the year until once a year, just like Miguel's family, he comes out and he's able to see him again. So I think it's pretty nice. I'm gonna go up here, I'm gonna add in his little mohawk. He does have a mohawk. This is very characteristic for all Xoloitzcuintli dogs. They have like this little tuft of hair at the very top of their head. But just to make him look a little bit more like a stray, this is where you wanna add in like these random lines, these random like little baby hairs around him. I'll add in just some extra little details, like the little part between his lip. This is called a philtrum, fancy animal science word for you. I'll give him some whiskers, because all dogs have whiskers. It's not just cats, dogs too. But that's it. That's all you need for your very own Dante from Disney Pixar's Coco. I like to add in some papel picado over here in the background. This is just like, this is the punched paper that the movie starts off with, where Miguel's telling his family about shoes. Like, she could have made anything. She could have made fancy underwear or fireworks, and she's like, no, we make shoes. And so you can go back and shade him in if you like to. One of the things that makes this breed so unique is that their skin tone is this dark gray, and that's why it seems like Dante has fur throughout the entire film, because I think a lot of us who have dogs, we all know that their skin tone is like this peacher color, but that peach, but this darker tone is really what kind of sets them apart and makes them look a little bit different. Also makes him look a little bit more like himself, so it's just an option that you can do. But once you're done, find a good spot somewhere next to your Dante. Don't forget to sign your name.